understanding of each other. So who has a question?
Thank you, Bert. I'm glad to be a part of this program. Thanks to my friend Jason, and I'm Rabbi Abrams, and Rabbi at Temple Beth Shalom in Sun City, and now Beth Ami in Paradise Valley. We're having Dr. Jasser speak to our congregation on Sunday, and he's a proponent for an Islam that is westernized, and that is a separation of mosque and state. And a person who brings a great message, because we all applaud you, sir, in your statements about Islam. I've been involved in interfaith programming all my life and had an interfaith commission which included Islam and Christian and Jewish and so on. The question is, can Islam be separated from politics and religion? Islam encompasses the entire, it's a universal religion. And I've tried to understand Islam in terms where I recognize that it's not, that the theocratic part of Islam is not going to instill within American Muslims a belief in Sharia law, or belief that Islam has to really dominate the religion of the world. So it's really a breath of relief to hear you, sir, speak that. And I'm just hoping that it's not just, you're not just talking to the wind, but I hope there are millions of other Muslims who can understand that you can be an American, and you can be a Muslim, you can be American and a Jew, and you don't allow, your mosque, your religion does not interfere with American values.
Thank you.
Thank you for that question. Actually, it's a great question. I know Dr. Jasser. I used to work for his organization as a director for research and publications. So, you're absolutely right. I mean, it's, there are almost, 1.4 billion Muslims in this world. So, almost, not quite, but almost every 1/5 of the, 1 in every 5 people is almost, a Muslim. If every Muslim believed in violence, if every Muslim believed in destruction, if every Muslim believed in death, this world ended a long time ago, right? So, given that fact, you have to understand that when you look at faith, any faith, you have to look at it from the perspective of 2016, January 19th, right? So, I mean, people don't seem to understand that a lot of things that, God's given us a brain. God's given us a brain to use, God's given us a brain to interpret certain things. And it's very important, moderate Muslims, not just me, all of moderate Muslims really believe this, that, we just want to be part of, we just want to sit at the table of humanity with everybody else, and we want to talk about it. So much bad stuff is said about Sharia law, Sharia law is not able or here to take over the United States. I mean, there's only like, 1 or 2% Muslims in America, so that's not likely to happen. And I think the biggest opponent of that, the Muslims that have actually left countries that are under, there's actually no Sharia law in exact form being practiced in the world today. But the sort of the draconian laws that are out there, many Muslims have escaped that sort of thing. So I mean, that really, I think that is a concept that's really does not need to be given the importance that it's given, because that's just something that's not happening. Now, in terms of Sharia law, if somebody wants to write their will and they want to write their marriage contract, or they want to write just like Jewish law, we do certain things in a proper way, and if somebody wants to use that, that's fine. But I mean, there is no place in the United States, or even Islam says that your promise means a lot. Your citizenship pledge is your promise. I mean, you have to follow your citizenship pledge, and that goes for anything else. So I think it's very important. You bring up a crucial point that that we cannot allow what happens outside the United States by a handful of extremists to dictate what Islam is in America, because that is just not the reality. I mean, yeah, you will have anomalies like the terrorists from San Bernardino, whatever type thing. And yes, there does need to be a better system of monitoring and sort of weeding out those people even from coming into this country. I mean, Muslims will tell you that, right? Because we are the people who are affected the most, because not only do we have to deal with these crazy people, we have to deal with everybody else who points the finger at us. And I don't want my children to grow up in the cloud of being Muslim. Well, you know, I mean, they're good kids. I mean, they're American kids. My son plays lacrosse. My daughter's in Washington, D.C. right now, working at the Senate. You know, so I mean, it's that type of thing that you have to apply logic. You have to apply common sense. And Muslims are really speaking up about that. I think it's important, and I think the message is kind of getting across. And mosques are talking more and more about how important it is to, you know, to sort of not let the narrative be controlled by those people who are wrong.
Thank you. Excellent.
Thank you. My name is Jason. I went to that wonderful World Parliament of Religions. I've learned a lot. I do have tons of questions for Shahid. Shahid.
Say it right, and I want to ask you. Just call me Sid.
Yeah, just follow Rabbi Art's question. You covered that topic about the relationships of the secular laws and religion's laws. I heard from you that Muslims in this country it takes, I mean, the Constitution of American laws or states laws. You made it clear that the Constitution, American Constitution, is above Sharia law, your religion's law. To me, this sounds like a reform of your religion, its effort. So my question is, throughout the history, we see major religions have gone through major reformation. We know that Judaism had done that. We know that Christianity has a number of big steps of reforming. So how about the Muslims? What is there a reformation effort going on, or is there a movement going on? Even Dalai Lama once wrote his book that says Buddhism needs a big reformation, since we need to be consistent with our current human knowledge, things like that. So, you get the point.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that question. I don't mean to hog all the questions here. But so that's a great question. You talk about reformation, reformation of faith. Islam, and particularly our Holy Quran, we believe that is the actual word of God, the God of Abraham, and there is no change that we can make to our Holy Scripture. Now, when it comes to interpreting the Quran, I think that's where really the essence of the Reformation, I guess, lies, in the sense that there are people, obviously, there are the Taliban and there are other extremist groups, ISIS, what have you, that are taking certain verses and that are interpreting them completely in an incorrect way. And there have been a lot of fatwas. There have been lots of fatwas against extremism, against killing, against all sorts of things. I mean, I have one here, that's been printed out. So I think part of it is dialogue, that you need to talk about exactly what those words mean and what those verses mean. Everything is basically situational. A lot of things that have happened, that are stories that are mentioned in the Quran or verses that are mentioned in the Quran are often situational, and you have to realize the context of those verses, why they were said, in what context were they said. And people, if you want to twist something, you can put a spin on anything, right? When you talk about violent passages in Holy Scriptures, you can talk about anything, right? And I'm not one, I really don't judge, I have great respect for, all Holy Scriptures, and I'm not here to draw comparisons or contrasts. All I'm saying is that you can take something, you can twist it around any way you want, you can say something about it, but it's our, I guess, responsibility of modern Muslims, and I think that's very important. I see this movement, I would call, towards explaining those passages and explaining those things occurring, where people are being told exactly what those mean, and exactly what context are those set in. So to say, Reformation, I think that explanation, that sort of understanding, and that sort of enhancement of thought, and that promotion of thought is actually occurring right now.
Yes.
Very good.
Yes. And Jason, make sure you're here on March 15th, because that will be a very important faith forum. Yes, right back here.
Hello, my name's Candace Stillman, and I have a question for the Sikh gentleman.
Yes.
I was reading that in your religion you believe in donating 10% of your income to charity. And I think this is impressive, because when you can get people to give up their treasure on a consistent basis, that shows a pretty deep level of commitment. Are these donations given to a central church for distribution, or are people expected just to give 10% as they see fit?
This 10% is called as one, which is 1/10 of your income. It is not essential that should only go for religious purposes. You can do anything civic, which is your responsibility, like helping the needy for whatever cause that is, so long as it is 10% and it is done for the right cause. There is no central authority where you have to deposit money for the religious purposes. If you are going to a Gurudwara, which is what a Sikh religious place, and you feel that something needs to be done, you can donate part of that or all of it. There's no requirement that it has to go to religion. It has to go to for religious causes. But it is 10%. Having said that, also keep in mind that not many people really do it. If you give 1%, people feel happy about it, especially in this kind of society where the emphasis is on self rather than something else. But those people who really believe in faith, they do take care of 10%, yes.
Yes. And Larry, how long do you need after this question? Time for you to share at the end? Okay.
I'm Jose, and I do appreciate each one of you, your information to us. But I have a question for Ginny, which I hope is an easy question. But I understand I do not have to give up my beliefs, my theology, and become a Scientologist. But is there a religious act, is there a rite of passage when I become a Scientologist? How do I know?
Well, within the 8 dynamics, it's your decision. It's what's right for you and feels right for you. No Scientologist gives up their previous, unless they want to give up their previous religion. I'm still a Methodist, even though I'm also a minister at the Church of Scientology. It's all in what your belief is.
How does the community accept that? When does the community tell me I'm a Scientologist?
I don't know how to answer that.
When he believes he is.
Yes. When you believe you are.
When you believe, it's not, it's all in you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So thank you so much. This has been a wonderful faith forum. I want to let you know about our faith forum coming up before we thank before we thank our panelists. And please help us by sharing this with your friends. Invite people. If everyone keeps bringing someone. Jason, I'm so thrilled that you went to the Parliament of Religions, because we met you at the event that Elizabeth did at her community college And he went to the parliament, so look just what one thing does, what one person does. And we get to go out and be a light and be a blessing and help break down those misconceptions and, more importantly, build bridges of understanding, because that's how our world gets better. So February the 16th, you will not want to miss this. Mark your calendars and bring people. Freedom of faith, the basic right or merely a suggestion. The First Amendment guarantees us the right to practice any religion we choose. But where is the line drawn when it comes to practicing our faith? Should prayer be allowed in schools? Does fundamentalism infringe on rights of others? Does the separation of church and state mean we can practice our faith in our homes but not in the real world? How important really is freedom of religion in a world rapidly becoming more secular? And what about religious extremism? So you want to be at that one for sure. And in March, we have Keeping Up with the Times, Coping with Societal Change. That's going to be a really phenomenal one too. So if you have any comments for me about the Faith Forums, come up, let me know. Let's give all of our panelists, before we invite Larry to come up and lead us on out, and we'll take our photo over here. Let's give all of our panelists a wonderful thank you.
Thank you very, very much for coming, first of all. Isn't this enlightening?
Yes.
Very good. And this is just a beginning of a wonderful year. I was thinking of the nature of the questions that were pretty much leveled at Sid here. And I thought...
I charge by the question.
And I thought how interesting it is that right now Islam is under fire. In 9/11, the Sikh community was under fire because of how they look, which went finally to death for some of their people. Next year, it might be one of our other religions that is going to be under fire. Does that tell you how important interfaith dialogue is?
Absolutely.
Does that tell you how important it is that we just try to find a way to answer all of the misunderstandings? To try to address the fear and the anger that accompanies misunderstandings? That's what we're all about, folk. And I hope you will find the time to join us. There's two ways you can join us. You can join us in body, and we would love that very much. Or you can join us by helping us finance what we do. It's $25 a year. One meal is all you have to give. And we would appreciate that very much. We have a lot of activities. One of the things that we have that we think is really important, and that is the holy days of various faiths, of all the faiths. And we have a calendar that helps to help understand what holy days each faith has. And they are available here today. And how much are they, Ann?
For donation.
For donation.
Yeah.
So $100 would be a wonderful You've probably seen our license plates. Live the golden rule. That is the common denominator of our faith groups. We believe in spreading the... Wouldn't it be a wonderful world if everybody just lived by the golden rule?
Amen.
Wouldn't it be a wonderful world to live in? You can help spread that message by buying one of our license plates, and that in turn helps us to finance what we do. A couple of things that's happening that we want you to be aware of, and that is the Super Bowl of Hunger is one of our organizations that we support, and that is that super, S-O-U-P-E-R. And from now until the Super Bowl, if you will just help collect funds in your place of worship, and then if you will just register that at tacklehunger.org. You can take these funds and give it to any food bank, any organization that is delivering food. We have delivery systems, and we have people who have the system, but they need money and they need food goods. And so if you want help, that would be a wonderful, wonderful celebration. We have an interfaith civil dialogue that's coming up with the Scottsdale Humanities panel, or Human Relations, and that is on the 27th of January at 7:30 at the Scottsdale Center for Performing Arts.
AM or PM?
AM. Thank you. I was going to say that there is a little bit of a little breakfast, continental breakfast there along with that, and it's free of charge. The last thing that I wanted to share with you was that we have books for sale and CDs, and they're over here. There's a Voices of Faith Volume 1, Voices of Faith Volume 2, and if you'd like to learn more about the various faiths that are represented in the Arizona Interfaith Movement, you can buy one of these books. They're $15 a piece, and then we have an interfaith book of inspirations, and all three of them can be bought for $40. That's a wonderful bargain. So if you'd like to participate in that, that would be great. We have a regional unity walk that's going to be taking place on January 30th at 5:45. You meet at the Tempe Bridge, and we're going to walk together. It's all the communities here in the Phoenix area are doing that. So once again, thank you so much for coming. God bless you. And I pray that you'll have a wonderful day. Don't forget to come back and see us. And don't forget to sign up for membership. Help us deliver the message that is so critically important. Did you have something?
Yes, I have a comment. When the license plates first came out, I got one.
Good.
And I can't tell you how many comments I've had made and questions that have been asked of me because of the license plate. It makes it, and it's a really good opener. And the other thing is, it's made a better driver of me.
That's exactly right. My wife was so happy when I bought my license plate because she said it made a better driver out of me.